what's up everybody? This is Etho and welcome back to another episode of the Let's Play series. Right now, we are in the middle of the ocean, if you couldn't tell. Yes, it's true. What are we doing here? None of your business. No, I'm just here to collect some blocks. Nothing too exciting. What are we collecting blocks for? None of your business. Just to have them, basically. Yeah, so on that note, this is going to be a very weird intro to this episode because I'm trying something a bit different as well. Yeah, so my plan for this intro is to do like a what's Etho been up to kind of thing. I've been playing a whole bunch since the last episode. You know, collecting things, organizing, just taking care of some of the like grindy, not super interesting projects I've been wanting to do. That's probably not worth featuring in an episode, but it's probably worth mentioning. So I wanted to like compile a bunch of those together. Yeah, so here we go, everybody. What's Etho been up to? Well, the first project I tackled was over at the Amplified base because that is the closest flower forest in our world, and we needed to make a new flower farm because our old flower farm really wasn't working too well anymore. Not only because the redstone was outdated, but because we've gotten new flowers in the game in the recent updates, like the Lily of the Valley, Cornflower Blues. We had no way of generating those in our world. And another thing that's changed over time is like where the flowers generate in flower forests has changed. And I couldn't even get alliums anymore because they didn't generate in the same spot anymore. So I've just been whittling down our stockpile of flowers over time here, and we've kind of run out. We needed a new flower farm set up. We were able to set up farms for most of the flowers in the game just by setting up 4 of my 7x7 flower farms. I really like these because they're quick, they're efficient, but especially I can build one in under 5 minutes. They're super simple. If the space is cleared out already. Now you might notice we put the flower farms underground. What's that about? Well, I searched the whole surface of our flower forest, like a 300 by 300 area. I could not find Lily of the Valleys anywhere. I spent over an hour looking for those things. I even went up in the sky and checked a bunch of spots, couldn't find them. It always goes Lily of the Valley, then Cornflower Blue, then the Oxeye Daisies. So I ended up checking underground, and that's where we eventually found some, and that's where we set up our farms. So then, after the flower farms were built, I went on a bit of a dye collection spree. I wanted to fill up that new building in Sandy City, all the barrels with dyes, so that they would be readily available, because that's the main reason we needed the flower farm, was to get more dyes. And for the next project, we headed over to that new Lush Caves caverns we've been working on underground, and it's very important whenever you're working on a project that you have an easy way to and from it. Otherwise, you will end up wasting a whole bunch of time just going back and forth between the project. And it won't be nearly as fun either, because you'll dread every time you have to go pick up something, right? So we had that long tunnel from the man cave to the cavern, but we didn't really have any other way to getting to it. I wanted a direct access with an elevator just in the area as well. That way, if we ever need to transport animals, or if we just need to pick up something from somewhere other than the man cave, it would be a lot easier. I got the elevator mostly finished, but then I realized we didn't have enough ice left to fill in the bubble column on it, and we'd have to go get more. So we paid a visit to the ice farm, and it's been a very long time since I last did a harvest because I made the farm like ridiculously big that like I hardly ever need to get more ice. Actually, the last time we used it was before netherite tools came out even. I know this because the farm's so big it'll break a diamond pick, like a full usage of a diamond pick if I'm not careful. But now that we have netherite, I can farm the whole thing without worrying about it breaking, which is awesome. It actually takes like 7 or 8 minutes to do a full harvest. Yeah, so then after we finished harvesting all the ice, we went back to finish up the bubble vader we were working on. We just put in 2 blocks of ice all the way up and then broke some of it. Most of it actually just melted from the sea lanterns we put in, so we didn't have to really do anything. Could have just left it and let it handle itself, but I was impatient. Next up, I decided to head over to our spruce tree farm and give it a little upgrade as well. Now, this is one of the farms I like the most in our world. I use it all the time. It's great for just getting bulk wood for crafting chests or hoppers or that kind of thing, right? So I use it quite frequently, and I want it to look good, you know? I want to be happy when I'm using the farm. So I decided to add 2 more legs onto it just because I thought it'd look a little bit better. I'm kind of curious about this actually. When you guys play Minecraft, do you do this in your worlds as well, where you'll like go back to projects and just keep adding onto them? Or is this more of a me thing? Because I know we like meme about the whole, oh, Etho never finishes his projects, right? But honestly, I don't like to call a project finished. I like to go back to it later and just add on to it if I think of something that would make it better. I don't want to be like, oh, it's finished. Don't touch it ever again. We move on to the next thing. No, I like to go back and like keep adding on for some reason. Yeah, so speaking of never finishing a project, I noticed while I was in the area, I was looking over at the Nexus, and the roof on it was kind of blocky looking, right? Especially the sea lanterns were just kind of sticking out on the top. And I got thinking maybe we should try round it out just real quick. So put some quartz around it, some iron trap doors, and then for the dark prismarine on the sides, it was also pretty blocky looking. So I just put some stairs and slabs around it to try smooth things out. To be honest with you, there's a couple things around the Nexus that don't look quite right. One of those scars is the bamboozler, just this nether brick and glass thing. I should build something over top of this at some point, but until then, I figured I would just switch out some of the materials so it would be easier on the eyes. We got this old blacksmith building out by the wheat farm, which never really got finished, and the funny thing is, I think we built this before the path next to it. Right? And then we put the path in, and I never connected the path up to the old house. Or there's even a path by the chorus fruit farm, which just kind of ends as well. So I figured let's extend the path that way. We'll bust down the fence and connect all three together and just make our world look a little bit more united. After that, I kind of felt like doing a bit of mindless mining. You know how it is sometimes? You're watching TV or whatever. You don't really want to think about anything, but you want to do something. So I went over to the Pillager outpost, and there's this big chunk of land I needed to mine out because some of the pillagers were still spawning on there. The idea is we're going to hopefully make this into a raid farm eventually, but until then, this was a little problem that needed to get finished on it. I had this idea as well that I wanted to run by you guys because I absolutely hate moving beacons in this game. Like, it's one of my most dreaded things. I've resorted to using TNT sometimes to clear them. And I thought, why don't they make it so that you can put TNT in a beacon and that unlocks a self-destruct option? Is that a good idea, or is that like too much for vanilla? And then finally, I went back to the caverns again. This time I wanted to get started on the triple amethysts we found. We want to make them into a farm so that we can just hit a button and automatically collect all the crystals just by having the pistons break them for us. The problem is, this is like the most annoying farm to build in the game. If you've ever done it before, it's tedious, it's tricky. Every single one has to be made differently, and there's a lot of like puzzle solving as you go with it. And that, my friends, is what Etho's been up to. Whew, okay, so the experiment is over. That's all the footage I had saved on my hard drive, guys. I got through it all. And now we stop and we analyze. How did that go? What do you guys think about the episode so far, You probably noticed it was a little bit different, huh? There's a reason for that. It's because I was testing something out. I've never done an episode like with a big chunk of post-commentary. I wanted to see what it would be like. You know, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit today and just see if it was better, what was good about it, what was bad. So I think it's good for showing a lot of information. I think the episode loses a bit of heart, though, doesn't it? So the way I normally record, if you don't know, is also a little bit weird. I generally will do something in game here. I'll record a single clip, and then I go straight to editing with that one clip, and I'll attach it to the end of the video and try to get it as polished as I can. Sometimes I forgot to say something, or I mess up my words, so then I go back into the game, and then I record the next clip, and I'll remember to say that thing I forgot to say or that I messed up, and then I'll do the best I can with that clip, and I'll just attach it to the end again, and somehow it makes a video. A patchwork style video. The other thing I was kind of curious about is what style of video was going to take me longer to do, and funny enough, they kind of worked out to take about the same amount of time. So the downside of real-time commentary is I end up cutting out a lot of what I say, and it just goes to waste, right? Also, like when I'm doing stuff in game, like what I'm doing right now, I have a hard time thinking and doing the thing I'm working on, and I work very slowly. So I can get stuff done super fast and efficiently in game if I'm just focused on doing that and not commentating at the same time. And like stopping every few minutes to give you a progress update and talk about decisions and that kind of stuff. That all takes time. That adds up. Post commentary, you know exactly what you're doing, right? So you know what's going to happen in the episode, and you can nail the commentary almost perfectly right on the first time, right? Because you know what's happened already, what you're trying to say and do. The downside is editing took forever on this episode, so I think it's about the same actually. Anyways, you guys said to remove the guard on the lava farm here the other day. And also, I asked about the amplified terrain. Should we go for amplified terrain or the new style? And it was a close vote, I would say. But I think slightly more of you said keep amplified. So that is the plan for now, but we might change it in the future. Anyways, let's move on here. So thank you, Rabbit. I forgot I had my carrots out. Something I do every update is I'll say what's broken in the world, because stuff breaks every single update, right? So as you know, we've gotten new caves under the world. That means a lot of my mob farms have been affected, including our general like zombie skeleton creeper farm here. It still works, it's just way slower than it used to be. And that means eventually I'm probably going to run out of like TNT and stuff if I don't make a new one or fix this one. I probably got to look underground just to see how many caves need to be lit up. I might not try to save this. I'm not sure yet. Instead, I'm kind of leaning towards like going to a new area and setting up a creeper farm. Like if we make a new base sometime, that'll be a project I would like to do and get like a nice efficient source of gunpowder. This is our current stash of like TNT and gunpowder though. And we're still getting a trickle from that. So it'll last a while, I'm sure. Another one of our mob farms that got hit by the 1.18 update is our Guardian farm. So it's not faring as badly as the hostile mob farm. It's actually doing okay, but it's definitely slower than it used to be with all the unlit caves underneath. The thing is, with our hostile mob farm that we just looked at, it only has maybe 500 spawning spaces, while this one has got like several thousand with this big volume of water, right? So the ratio of spawning spaces to the unlit caves isn't as bad, and it's still working okay. But I definitely want to try save this, because we put a lot of work into making this, as well as the mural back here, and I would hate for us to like just say goodbye to this, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna go and try light up the caves under here at some point. Now there's another really bad thing about the 1.18 update. Performance has gotten quite a bit worse. You might even see some loss of frame rate as I'm walking around Sandy City here. So especially around the man cave and around Sandy City, it's extremely laggy in my world. I think maybe because of the map wall and just we have a lot of stuff here, right? So I've had to resort from going to 12 chunks render distance. I used to play on 17. That seems to fix the problem, but we can't see as far. And it's kind of a double whammy, because another thing that kind of broke this update is the Ender Porter we had set up. Now, it still works. Everything functions exactly the same as before. The difference is, you might have saw in the patch notes, they changed the way chunks load in this 1.18. It used to load in a square around the player, and they changed it to a circle. And I had this set up in just the way where we would teleport to the very corner of the square that was loaded if we had 17 chunks rendered. The more chunks we render, the further we can teleport. But because it's a circle now, even at 17 chunks render, I can't teleport to the next station. It's unloaded right now, which kind of stinks. I think I would have to go way up. Like maybe even 22 wouldn't be enough. We'll see here. Oh, now it went. Okay. Anyways, the Ender Porters need some work now because of that. I'll probably have to have an in-between station. Now, thankfully, that's pretty much all the problems I've had with the update. Not too bad. I just gotta go caving and everything will be pretty much back to normal. Build another Ender Porter. We're good as new, right? There's actually been some really good things with this update as well. So, previously, if you loaded a chunk at a certain X and Z coordinate, it would load everything from the bottom of the world right to the top of the world. In this update, they seem to manage it quite well. They only load a certain amount, and like right now, what's our frame rate? We're getting 91 frames while recording. Pretty good, right? And I'm at 32 chunks loaded, or rendered. So underground, everything's working just fine. The man cave is above us in Sandy City, where it's extremely laggy, but thankfully, if I get far enough away under the underground here, I'm not affected by the lag up there. You know what I just realized? I never showed you guys the Amethyst farm. Let's check this thing out. So this is where we're sitting right now. Now, I said there was 3 of them, and I got 1 of them converted over. And then I got tired of working on this thing. So this took 3 or 4 hours just to get 1 of them done. Now, I did get started on a second one. And it's kind of funny. Like, I watch other people's Let's Plays every so often, right? And I've noticed, like, whenever somebody's working on an Amethyst farm, they'll be all excited, like, before they start it. And then after, when they show it off, they're like, all right, guys, I got the Amethyst farm done. It's just this absolute dread after you work on it for a while, because it's just so difficult and time consuming and tedious and stuff. But yeah, this is where we're at with the second crystal right now. And I've discovered there's not just 3 here, there's actually 6 of these geodes that I'm going to want to convert over eventually. Not today, though. No, I've had enough. So with this first one, though, I actually got it to work with the water streams, which is kind of cool. Like, you should probably build these with hoppers. Why is there... I missed the spot, apparently. Actually, I should put 1 more there. Let's go inside. Let's check this out. So you can see we got wiring all over the top here. I found it's good to have, like, a mix of, like, redstone dust and observers. Observers are great if you need to run the signal down somewhere. All right, let's go in here. And you can see all the pistons. So, like, the idea is the piston will extend here and break the crystal when it's fully grown. It'll drop it into the water, and then it all kind of gets collected together. And I divided the geode into halves, so everything on this layer kind of gets collected together by the water streams, and then some of it will flow over the side here, down to the second layer. We got some more crystals up above here, you can see. And these ones get collected all together in water streams. I got some more channels hidden over there, right? So no matter where the crystal lands in this area, it should eventually end up going down the tube here. So that was kind of tricky to work out. But it's working good as far as I can tell. Then if we go down here, there's this like an ice path that goes up to the elevator on the outside is where we're at right now. As far as how to harvest this thing, right now I just got a redstone signal here. Now the crystals grow very slowly, and it didn't look like many were ready in there, so I don't know if we're gonna get anything actually. Oh, we got a few. You gotta leave it sit for like at least an hour though, I think, before you'll get many. That's cool. We got a couple here, and we can use these to make the tinted glass. And like if it's a full harvest, I'm sure we'll get at least a stack. But yeah, it wasn't ready. Now, the cool thing is, because I've been spending so much time working on this farm, right, the tree farm was able to run for quite a few hours, but I ran out of bone meal, so it's kind of shut down for now. I got to go get more. But we got a couple of shulkers of oak wood and, like, several stacks of rooted dirt at this point. So we got the rooted dirt if we ever want to build with it now, which is awesome. Now, I just moved a beacon down here, got that set up, and I'm going to be mining out a bit of land. So there was an awesome suggestion in the comments of last episode. Sorry, I can't give you credit. I can't find your comment again. If only Google had a search option for the comments. Maybe there is one, and I just don't know where it is. But that would be lovely. But yeah, someone suggested set up a Terraria like music in this area because we're trying to do Terraria themed, right? I thought that was a great idea. So my plan is to, whenever we harvest the crystals, we'll play a little Terraria jungle Noteblock tune. I think would be cool. So I'm working on setting that up now. So I've been experimenting as well with the whole moss to get rid of deep slate. You do need to mine out the top layer here, right? And then if you have some moss and bone meal, you can speed up the layers below that. But you do need to remove at least one layer. It won't grow sideways. It only grows downward. So then we can just do that. And then it's so much faster to remove the next layers. Get rid of that, and then if you want, you can spread it again. So that's pretty cool. That helps a lot. Okay, so it's a little bit tight down here, but we got a little bit of space to get started. I tried to center that end and that end between the 3 geodes up above, and then if we need more space cleared out, we're going to go this way, is my plan. And we're going to get started in the very corner here. Now, a lot of you guys want me to explain how I do the Noteblock thing in this game, right? What's my secret? Am I a musical genius? Yes. Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I really wish I was, though. I know a couple things. I've been trying to learn a few things, but I'm still very much a novice, okay? Which is good news for you, because if you don't understand how I do this, I'm here to tell you, it's really easy to turn songs into note blocks in the game, okay? So if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. Now, if I right-click this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's a C sharp. How do I know that's a C sharp? Because I'm a musical genius. No, it's because I looked at the Minecraft wiki. If you go under Noteblocks, there's this awesome reference picture there of a piano, and it'll show you how many clicks each of the keys on the piano relates to the note blocks, okay? Now, the other thing about note blocks in Minecraft, they're very limited on their range. It only covers 2 octaves. And then it starts over. So that's 24 notes, 12 notes per octave. What is an octave? Okay, so we click this note block 7 times, and it's a C sharp. And then I copied that over here. It's also the same. All right, so to go up an octave is the same as right-clicking this 12 times. So it runs through all the notes, basically. So is it C sharp right now? Let's do that. So if we add 1, it's a D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp. All right, so that's our 12th time. Now when we compare them, they kind of sound similar, right? They're both C sharps, but this one's 1 octave higher. An octave is when you double the frequency. When you go up an octave, you're doubling the frequency. If you're going down an octave, you're cutting the frequency in half. So our brain kind of interprets it as the same note, even though it's a higher pitch, but it has similar characteristics, right? Yeah, so if I'm understanding things right, if you go up an octave, you're doubling the frequency of a sound wave, right? So you have twice as many waves hitting you, but half of the time they're lining up perfectly with the octave below that. So that's why they sound similar to you, right? They're lining up, actually. While if you shift the notes over by just a few, then they're not going to line up. And that's why different notes sound different. Does that make sense? I hope I said that right. So that's useful to know about the octaves, because if you see someone playing a piano or whatever, you have notes on someone, tabs of a piano or whatever. You search online for that, and you want the song, but it looks like it's an octave or 2 over, or 3 or 4. You are allowed to shift octaves, like add 12 notes, or 24, or 36, or whatever, okay? Or subtract. The other thing that I found very confusing about music is the whole flat and sharp system. So basically a flat, you -1 on a note, a sharp, you +1. Okay, so let's say you have a C, 6 right clicks on the note block, right? A C flat, you -1, so it's only 5 right clicks. Or if you have a C sharp, as we saw before, +1, it's a 7. Now where this gets confusing is sometimes you'll be reading notes and you'll have a B. Okay, that's 5. That makes sense. You -1 for a flat. That's a 4 right clicks on the note block. Wait a minute, a B sharp is a 6 then. And a C is a 6. What's the deal here? Why don't they just write it as one thing? Yeah, I'm just going to assume somebody in the comments is going to explain this way better than I ever could. Why they don't just use one letter to represent the same thing, right? I think the idea is it's helpful to stick to the letter in use in a song, because it shows how that note relates to the other notes in the songs better. And also anticipates, as they're reading the notes, what's coming next in the song. If I understand that right, it's a over 100-year-old system. I'm sure there's reason to it. Okay, anyways, moving on. Something I forgot to mention about the octaves. Like, let's say you go online and you search how to play so-and-so song on piano. You'll probably see someone playing it on piano, right? And they'll be playing on the left side of the piano, probably, and the right side. And that covers like a huge octave range, 6 or 7 octaves. We only have 2. What do we do? Right? So the general rule is use other instruments if you need different octave ranges. So for the left side of the piano, usually I'll use the planks, the bass. So it's got a lower sound to it, right? So I usually use that to represent the left side of the piano. And for the right side, you just use the piano. Or if you need to go a higher octave, there's like chimes you could try out. Or if you need something between bass and piano, you can go for guitar. That all being said, the super cheaty method, which I'm going to use for this Terraria song, is to just download Noteblock Studio. It's a program for Minecraft. It lets you load in a MIDI file, so you can download a MIDI file for a song. And then it'll transform that song into the Minecraft notes. And it shows you how many clicks and everything. It's super amazing. Okay, so I got it loaded up on my other monitor right now. I'm going to play the Terraria song I found, the MIDI for. Uh-huh. So the problem with just using Noteblock Studio, though, is a lot of songs just turn into a garbled mess like that, too. So, yeah, it's not a perfect answer either. So you kind of have to blend methods sometimes, like reading notes off of a site or finding tabs, listening by ear and trying to match notes. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of different methods and tricks to converting songs into Minecraft. Can't go over all of them here, but just start with something simple and you'll figure things out as you do things. The other thing I haven't really talked about yet is tempo. Honestly, you're kind of on your own there. For my old Hermitcraft videos, I cheated and would speed up the tempo in editing or slow it down. If I ever had to do it in-game, I would try to pick a song that had a good matching tempo. Sometimes you get lucky and you can just do it with repeaters. Sometimes you might need to use minecart tracks and detector rails or walking over pressure plates, things that have in-between timings to repeaters. Yeah. I think for this one though, so usually what I'll do is I'll do a little sample of the song. Way too slow, right? So that's good because I don't really want this timing. I think I can get away with just sort of the default where the minimum note timing is just 1 tick on the repeater. That's kind of what you want. Okay, so I think this one's supposed to be at 5. So it's a little bit faster than what we heard in Noteblock Studio. But I think it's close enough that we can get away with it. Okay, having a little bit of trouble with this one, it turns out. It's okay. Some of the timings are actually off, I realized. And now it's all built. And if I want to change it, I have to start over. So that's one thing you got to really watch out for. The other thing is, and if I try to change it, I'm going to have to deal with the repeater timings not matching up too well and go with a different method. And I don't really want to do that. So sometimes you just have to accept imperfection. Now, the other thing is sometimes instruments can be overpowering. And I've noticed I had more bass in here, right? According to what Noteblock Studio said. And it's almost a little bit too much. I don't know if I made a mistake or what's going on there, but it sounds really weird. Aha, okay, I forgot to put a plank under one of the note blocks. This is supposed to be bass, but it's piano, so that really throws off the sound of the song. And on that note, you definitely want to play your songs many times as you're building them, because it's very easy to make a mistake, and then if you miss that mistake, it's very hard to correct it later. And actually, you know what? I don't think we're going to change anything else on this. I think that's good for what we wanted to do here. We just want a little tune to play when we harvest the amethyst crystals, right? I think that's a good length to it. Now we could make it more fancy and add the clicks and snares like we heard in the Noteblock Studio. you know? It's an option. The thing about these, if you ever do them, obviously it adds a lot of work to making a song. But I learned one of the tricks is you don't want these with your other note blocks. They're very overpowering. It's a very sharp, harsh sound. You want that quiet if you ever use it. So you want these farther away than your other note blocks so that they get dimmed down a bit. All right, everybody. Well, I don't know how you did it, but somehow you made it to the end of the episode with me again here. Those of you still here. All right, let's do the comment of the day. What do we got for today? Where's my... Oh, I got to look at my F1. Oh, I took it off my hotbar. No wonder I can't find it. Okay, here we go. Comment of the day. Any plans to bring back Terra Firma Craft? Oh, this is a question I've been getting a lot. No. I hate to say it, guys. Terra Firma Craft is over. It's gone. No more. Season 3's over. Yep, there probably won't be a Season 4 either. I hate to say it. Unless the mod gets updated. I've heard rumor that people are working on it. That would be awesome. I would like to see I'd like to see more changes to it in the future. But we've done 3 seasons on it. If it doesn't change, I probably won't play another one because honestly, it's probably the toughest 3 seasons of any series I've ever done. Terra Firma Craft is extremely difficult to make YouTube content on. Just by the nature of like how it works. Like in Minecraft, I can build a structure and be like, oh, check out my structure, guys. In Terra Firma Craft, it's like, all right, guys, I'm making milk. And it takes about the same amount of time. And it's like, isn't this milk amazing? And it's hard to get people to think, yes, Etho, that milk is amazing that you just made. I know it took you 12 hours to make it. Okay, so what happened to the end of Terra Firma Craft? Why was there no proper ending? Let's talk about that. So it's very difficult to make endings in Minecraft series. Just by the nature of the game. It's a sandbox game with no real proper ending. Except for the dragon fight, right? But generally, most series don't have an ending like that. So what do? Well, if it's a longer series, like a Let's Play, like maybe Hermitcraft or my Let's Play here, if you were to ever end it, it's easy because you've done a lot of stuff in the world. You can just do like a world tour, check out what we did in the series as like a final wrap-up, right? So that's not too difficult. With something like Terra Firma Craft, though, where you don't build anything, how do you do a final episode? Well, my idea was to finish up the quest book. I was kind of done with the pack. It's like, okay, let's finish up the quest book. It'll give us a nice, satisfying wrap-up to the whole thing, right? I was kind of done with it at that point. And then as I was doing the quests in the quest book to try finish it, they were just kind of dragging on. And also, I discovered some of them were broken. And then at the final episode, I still had plans to keep playing it, but then I played 3 hours to get ready for the next episode. And I discovered like every single quest in the quest book was broken, not just like a few of them, every single one. So I would have to spawn in a bajillion items to wrap up the series. And it's like, the idea is to get a satisfying ending. Spawning in items, not really satisfying. So my plan to end the series kind of fell through, and it's like, okay, well, I don't feel like playing this anymore because it's all broken, so it just kind of ended. So hopefully that gives some closure on it at the very least for anybody wondering. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.